All right, we are recording. And welcome to another session of Zoom. So now I want to know if you guys want to be called Zoomers or Zoomies. You don't know, huh?
Zoomers.
Zoomies or Zoomers?
Zoomers.
Oh, Zoomers. Okay, that's what Randy thought too. So.
Zoomers.
Zoomers.
He wins another bet.
Zoom out.
Guys. Okay. Alrighty. There is a concert at the end of the week. There's actually two concerts. On Friday is the company concert at 2 o'clock. Mr. Rick Anderson, I've never heard him before, but I've read his bio. It looks good. I think he sings a little bit too, so you might want to check him out on Friday at 2. And then yours truly and Randy are going to be doing the concert just for you guys, just for the village people and surrounding areas, on Saturday at 1, our normal 1 o'clock concert time. Now, here's the rules. You all have to get or bake your favorite chocolate chip cookies or brownies so that you feel like you're in the store. Okay? And you all have to get little foam cups and put coffee in it. And every now and then, one of you has to spill it a little bit so you feel like you're in the store.
And be sure to spill it on Dawn's music book.
Ah, yeah. We have done that too. Yep.
Yeah, but who's gonna say the jokes?
Oh, well.
You tell me if I joke.
Wow, I'll have to find some. You know, I have a joke book that Dennis Aw gave me, so I can find one or two, and we can do a joke or two.
Yes, Carol. Hi, Carol.
Hi.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I am going to mute everybody right now, okay? And then when I ask for questions, then you will be allowed to unmute yourself. Let's see. You're still.
Oh, I'm unmuted now, I think.
You are. Some of you are. It says mute all, and you're not all unmuting. No. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. Well, let me try something here. That didn't do it either.
Well, we can mute ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's what you're going to have to do, because I have not figured out how to unmute you all. So there's a little microphone down in your left-hand corner. I understand on an iPad it's probably the right-hand corner.
Doug, I can't hear.
Click on that.
Doug, take a nap.
Okay, Penny just came on. Welcome, Penny. I need you to put your camera on. Of course, if you don't want us to look at you if you're in your jammies, that's okay too. All right. The song we are doing today is Time in a Bottle. There are many different rhythms that you can use on this. I love the Bojangles, but I'm going to save that one for the end. You can also do Bistro Italiano. You can do smooth piano 3/4. Pretty much any waltz is going to work. I would not recommend the Vietnamese waltz or the big band waltz, and the jazz waltzes don't seem to work as well, but guitars 3/4 is also very good at about 115 or 116. I think I'll just play it. I'm going to start with guitars 3/4. I'm going to play it, and I want you to just kind of take some notes as to what you hear differently that I'm doing, because I will give you all the additions. Now, if you remember, all the additions are optional. You don't need to use any of them, but I think it will enhance your playing. I may even have added one too many options because it's getting a little difficult now. And sometimes I wonder whose fingers these are. So here we go. Time in a Bottle on guitars 3/4. Okay, did you count the mistakes? Any questions at this time?
What was your tempo?
Tempo was 115.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you.
115. Now remember, you can always go slower than that.
Dawn, on the marquee,
Mhm.
it comes up 125 Bojangles.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
That's song setup.
Wow. He either thinks you guys are geniuses on marquees or he was highly caffeinated. 'Cause that was that 125 would be a little bit fast.
No, no, I didn't notice it being fast. when
No,
I-
it sounded okay
No.
to you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, it's your tempo is completely subjective. It has to sound good with the rhythm you're using. It also has to sound good with the background, just you. It has to feel right. It has to feel right. And always start it slower because even at 115 today, my fingers are being a little slow.
Dawn,
Dawn.
Yes.
did you use song setup or not?
I did not use song setup. I don't think it's in this organ, but check yours and see if it's there.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, but it is a waltz. Sometimes,
Ron.
sometimes the waltzes don't always show up. Yes.
Time in a Bottle is in the Sterling, and it is coming in with 125 there also.
Really? Wow.
I don't know, you can try it either way.
Time in a Bottle is coming up, or
Yeah.
Time After Time?
No, Time in a Bottle.
Time in a Bottle. Really? Wow. Okay. We'll
We don't
try it
have-
at 125 and see what you guys think. If you like it, go for it.
Yeah.
Now, when I play
Dawn?
it the second time, when I play it, once we go through some of these things, I am going to use the Bojangles, and I've made up a sound. Now, it's a sound that was originally used for the original recording, so I think you'll like it. I think you'll like what happens. I did a little research on this, as usual. Jim Croce wrote the lyrics after his wife, Ingrid, told him, "Hi, honey, I'm pregnant." Oh, okay. So that was December of 1970. All right, everybody, if you can, just mute yourselves. Okay, thank you. Because otherwise there just gets to be too much distraction. Okay, so in 1970, his wife Ingrid said she was pregnant, and he got so excited he decided to write a song. So he wrote some lyrics. It appeared on his 1972 debut album, You Don't Mess Around with Jim. A lot of you probably remember that. And it was featured in the 1973 made-for-TV movie, She Lives. I do not remember that movie. I don't know if any of you do, but that's what it was. Now, the record company never intended to release the song as a single, but when Croce was killed in a plane crash in September of 73, oh my God, how tragic is that? Your wife is pregnant in 1970, and in 73, you die? That's, wow, I feel bad for her and the baby. But the lyrics dealing with mortality and the wish to have more time caused the song to have a lot of airplay, and as an album track, and then the album track was in high demand on the radio. And so the recording company then finally released it as a single. It went to #1 early in January of 74, and then the album itself, You Don't Mess Around with Jim, became #1 for 5 weeks. But how tragic that you have to die to get your song go to #1, huh? So that's the background behind Time in a Bottle. Did you hear some of the extra things that I did? You're getting good at this. You're getting very good at listening. That's a wonderful thing. Did I add some extra chords? Absolutely. Why? Because I can, and because it is going to make it sound better. Did I add some extra right-hand notes? Yes, absolutely. Why? Because it was on the original, and so it made it sound pretty good. The sound that was actually used in the recording was a harpsichord combined with a guitar. Some of you will find that the accordions sound very similar. You might want to just stick with the accordions and the bojangles, which is rhythm preset 0. But if you wish, you may go over to your Geniuses and find a harpsichord and combine it with an acoustic guitar. And you're going to come up with a very interesting sound. And that's the sound I'm going to use the last time I play it. I also rearranged the song a little bit. And there's actually 2 ways that you can rearrange it. Instead of just playing it through, the roadmap has a first ending. It says go back to the first page, play the first page again, go to the second ending, and finish the song. Well, the song is very short. So at the bottom of the second page, before those dots that are facing forwards, that measure, the second measure of that line, and I guess I put it like right over those dots, I put a DS Alfine. DS Alfine. What does DS mean? Go back to the silly sign. Well, guess what? There is no silly sign. So you have to make one. Where are you going to make it? You're going to make it at the beginning of the song. I actually made it right over the dots that are facing forward at the beginning of the song. And there are 3 verses to the song. The third verse is, if I had a box just for wishes and dreams that had never come true, the box would be empty except for the memory of how they were answered by you. That's the third verse. So now where do I go from there? Oh my goodness. Well, you could actually go up to the first ending, go back and play it again, or you could just skip over to the second ending, and then you would put it, see where the second ending goes up like this, and it's got the little 2 in it. You might want to put a 2, 3. So that ending would become the second ending and the third ending. And then you would go back and finish the song. And the last time you play it, you're going to just play the da-da-da-da-da-da. Those last 2 measures, just play it a couple of times and then go up to the high D. And that's where your fine is. Your fine is on the very last note. So the DS Alfine, before your repeats, go back and play. You put your silly sign at the top of the page. So you can play verse 3, go to the second, third ending, play this part again, and then just finish the song, and fine at the very end. Anybody who's questioning that or you have problems with that, please don't hesitate to come into the store and just borrow my book and check and see where they are. Okay, let's do some extra other things. What else did I do? At the second ending, second, third ending, right over that second, third ending, you want to write in add alter. A-L-T-E-R. That's adding in the alter style. Now, for those of you that don't have an alter style, I guess you can't use one, so don't worry too much about it. No biggie. But for those of you that have it, add the alter style. You don't have much time. You may decide that you want to put it in a preset. Then you can go back and forth. When you get to the bottom of the page, right before you wrote the DS Alfine, right after you play that A chord, you want to write in minus alter or take off alter, so that when you go back to the beginning and play verse 3, you're back to the original. Now, when you're on guitars 3/4, here's what the original sounds like. Here's what the alter sounds like. Without, with. So it does give you quite a difference. And try your different waltzes and see which ones are going to give you some nice alter styles to go along with the song.
Dawn,
Yes.
on the Prestige Plus,
Mm-hmm.
it's got time in a bottle, and it begins on
Can you get closer to your microphone?
Okay, it begins on altar style.
Mm-hmm. No,
So-
it begins without alter style.
Okay. When I put it on,
Mm-hmm.
time in a bottle on my setup,
Uh-huh.
it starts with the altar style on.
Interesting.
So I should just take it off?
I would. Yeah. I would, because it's going to give you a little bit more stuff to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, if your song setup comes with alter style, it's not going to change it for you in the middle. So you need to change it and do it yourself. So turn off the alter style to start, and don't turn the alter style on until you get to that whole second page. That's on the alter style. Okay? Good question. Very good question. All right, what else do we need to know? Extra chords. All right, get your pencils out. Remember, these are optional. The D minor is good for one measure. The next measure over the word time, you want to put in a D minor major 7. Oh my. You've seen that one on my back whiteboard here. I'm looking right at it. It's a D little m capital M-A-J 7. It is a 3-fingered chord. So your 3 notes are C sharp, D, F, C sharp, D, F. And it sounds, I'm going to take the waltz off for a second. Here's your D minor. Going to the D minor major 7. And you know what's coming next. In the third measure of the top line over the word bottle, you want to put in a D minor 7, which is C, D, and F. So you're moving from this to this to this. It just makes for a little bit more motion there, and it really helps. Now I'm going to give you an optional chord. Line 2, first measure, D minor 6, or just play a regular old D minor. If you play a D minor 6, you have to get your hand a little bit into a different position, and you need 4 notes. D, F, A, B, and they must be in that order, or just play a regular D minor.
Dawn, are you putting
Yes.
it over the whole note?
Over that dot, the whited in dotted half note at the beginning
Yeah.
of the second line. Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly where it goes.
Okay.
All right, the G minor is good for 1 measure and 1 count, which means that in that third measure of line 2, over the A for the word like, beat 2, you want to put in an A or an A7. A7 is G and A. And then over the B flat for the word 2, put in a G minor or a G minor 7. G minor 7 is a little bit harder to play. It is F, G, and B flat, or just play G minor. Then go back to your A7 just as it's written in. If you wish, that would be a good place for an FX, but I am going to add some right hand notes so you don't really need it. Let's go to the third line. Third line, nothing in the first measure. The D minor in the second measure is good. The third measure over the A for the word day, put in a D minor 7, which is a C, D, F. Let's go to the fourth line. The B flat is good up there, by the way. Line 4, G minor. You may put a 7 on that G minor. The first one, over passes. Not on the second one. Okay, let's go to the second page. Third measure, the D is good for one measure. The last measure in line 1. Put in a D major 7, D capital M-A-J 7. Your two notes are C sharp and D. Did you notice what just happened? We went from the key of D minor to the key of D major. This entire second page is played in a major key. The entire first page is played in a minor key. Those are called parallel major and minor, not relative. Relatives are different. Parallel major and minor. It's the same letter. Why do you need to know that? You don't. The only reason to know that is if you ever go on Jeopardy, now you know the answer. Okay. Second line. B minor over that F sharp. B minor, which is D and B. Second measure over the B for the word want. Plain old D, dinosaur. The G chord is good for one measure. The next measure over that whited in dotted half note, go back to plain old D, dinosaur. You may put an FX in there too, by the way. Third line. See the E minor? You might want to put a box around it.
Excuse me, what was the last one after the D?
After the D, just put a fill in or an FX. That's not a chord. It's just a note to yourself that that would be a good spot to do a fill or an FX.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Third line. See the E minor not in a box? Put it in a box. You want to play it. And you may wish to put a 7 on it. If you put a 7 on the E minor, it is D, E, G. Otherwise, just play E minor, which is E and G, elephants and gorillas. The A or A7 is good. The D is good for one measure. The last measure of line 3 over the B for enough. Put a D major 7. D, capital M-A-J 7. Your two notes are C sharp and D. If you remember the rule for major 7s, it is the letter -1. The letter -1. Fourth line. First measure over the F sharp for your. B minor, butterfly minor, D and B, dogs and butterflies. Second measure over the B for the word want. Plain old D, dinosaur. The G chord is good for one measure. The last measure of that line over the whole rest. Plain old D, dinosaur. The E minor in the last line, put a box around it so you play it. It's E and G, and you may wish to put a 7 on it. And that's it for the chords. There's some pretty chords in here.
Dawn,
Yes.
on the fourth line, 1, 2, 3, 4. Was that first over the word your? Was that B minor or D minor?
B, butterfly minor.
Thank you.
Good question. D and B are the two notes.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else have questions at this time? Nope. Okay. Very cool. All right. Let's do some fingering, and I'm going to add in the extra notes at the same time. So pay close attention. Remember, the extra notes are optional, but here's the fingering for what's already there. A3, A3, B flat 4, A3, A3. B flat 4, A3, A3, A3. Pretty easy so far. At the end of that held A in the second line, put a check mark. The A eighth note is 4. G3, 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 A4, B flat 5, A4. Now, here's where your extra notes are coming in. Directly under the A, you're going to have 3/4 notes in that line. Directly under the A, put a C sharp on the first line under the staff and make it a 1. The second count, the same measure. Second beat, put a D, the first space under the staff, make it a 2. The third count, put an E on the first line of the staff and make it a 3. In the next line, you're going to have 3/4 notes also. So pretty much right on top of that held A, which you're not going to hold, by the way, put a G on the second line, make it a 5. Beat 2 in between the notes, put an F on the first space, make it a 4. Then you have on right underneath the A, you're going to put an E on the first space, on the first line, excuse me, and you can make it either a 3, a 2, or a 1, whichever one gets there first. And you can cross out that very first A because you're going to go from the E to the second A. That second A is a 3, by the way. Okay. Did I just confuse you guys? Yes. All right. Let me see if I can.
Can
put
you
the
play
picture-
that for us too and then go
Yes.
through it again?
Yes, I'll play it for you right now. Okay. I'm going to start at the first thing that I'd like to do. Okay. See what happened? When you get to do, you're going to do a 4 on the A and a thumb on the C sharp. Then you're just going to let go of the A. Now, if you can't play the C sharp, don't worry about it. Play the A with a 4, then play the D with a 2. If you can't get any of them, use the FX and don't worry about it at all. How's that? How's that for a deal?
Dawn,
Yes.
so you played a C sharp, a D, and E,
Yes.
then a G, F, E?
Yes.
Wait. And where's your G, F, E? Oh, that makes more sense. Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, sometimes it's easier to look at it. Okay.
All right.
Line 3, second measure. A3, B flat 4, A3, A3, B flat 4, A3, C5, B flat 4, A3, G2, A3, B flat 4, A3, check mark. The 2 A8th notes, just 2. Those are 5s. A5, A5. G4, F3, G4, A5. Now you're going to write some more notes. Directly under that A, you're going to put a C sharp on the first line below the staff. Make it a 1. Then in the second beat of that measure, put a D on the first space below the staff. Make it a 2. The third beat of that measure, put an E on the first line. Make it a 3. Then up in the first ending, the top of the next page, you just cross out that white A, cross that one out because you're already going to be off of it. The first beat will be a C sharp on the first line under the staff. And let's see, what finger can we make that? How about whatever finger gets there first? Let's make it a 2. Second beat, put in a B, the second space under the staff. You're going downhill. Make it a 1. Beat 3, make an A, the second line under the staff. Make it a 2 with a circle. And then you're going to have to do a really quick jump up to that A pickup note and make it a 3. Or skip that note altogether and just start back at the dots. Whichever one's easier for you. Now I'm gonna hold that up to the screen as well so you can see exactly what that was. Got it? Don't forget, you can skip those notes completely if you want. By the way, that's only for the first ending. On the second ending, don't play it at all. Don't play those last 6 notes at all because it's going to be too hard. You're going to need your left hand to reach up and turn the alter style on, so you need to focus on that. Let's go to the second, third ending. After that held A, put a check mark. Then it's A4, E1, F sharp 2, A4, 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 B5, A4, A4, E2, D1. Second line, F sharp 2, A4, 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 B5, A4, A4, E2, D1, low B2, circle it, you're crossing it over. And the next D is a 4. Third line, second measure. You've got a couple of rests, and you're going to add some notes underneath those rests. Under the A chord, the first quarter rest, put a C sharp, the first line under the staff. Make it a 2. Beat 2, under the second quarter rest, put a D, dinosaur, in the first space under the staff. Make it a 3. And beat 3, under the 8th rest, put an E in the first line of the staff. Make it a 4. And then you're going to go real quick from that E 8th note down to the A. The low A is a 1. Remember, those are optional notes, but they do sound pretty cool, and they are in the original recording. Low A1, F sharp 3, A4, 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 B5, A4, E2, A1. There's a lot of stretching there, but you can do it. Fourth line, F sharp 3, A4, 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 B5, A4, F sharp 3, D2, B1, D2. Let's go to the last line. I'm going to add some notes. The second measure where you have a whole rest, remember you're in a waltz, so a whole rest here equals 3 counts. Under that A chord, you are going to write a C sharp, which is the first line under the staff. Make it a 2, that's a good number for it. Then the second beat, you're going to put a D in the first space under the staff. D, dinosaur, make it a 3. Beat 3, put an E on the first line of the staff. Make it a 4. Now you go back to the beginning of the song. And you can skip that very first A, 8th note, or if you want to throw it in, please feel free to do so, because this is where we're rewriting the song. Questions? Nope. Ooh, you guys are doing good. Okay. I'm going to put this on Bojangles.
Dawn, would you please repeat the roadmap?
Yes.
Thank you.
The roadmap here is something that we are rewriting. So remember, you can play it exactly as it's written, but it's a little bit short that way. So we're adding a third ending. All right, here's what we're doing. The first verse is the entire page 1, taking you to the top of the second page where you have the 1, the first ending.
Yeah.
You have repeat dots. They're at the top of the page. They're sending you back to the repeat dots at the beginning. You're going to pick up verse 2. Verse 2, if I could make days last forever, the entire first page, only this time you're going to skip the first ending, go to the second ending, play all of page 2, except for the last couple measures. You're going to play to the last line where we wrote in DS al fine. So that means you're going to make that a color, and you're going to write in your own silly sign back at the beginning of the song where the dots are. So you're going to want to have a color and a color. And if you can't remember how to make a silly sign, it looks like a price tag with some dots. Find another song that has one and copy it if you're not sure how to make it. I probably made this one wrong. It doesn't matter. I know what it is. Then we're going to play the third verse. Now, the third verse isn't written in there. But if you want to write it in, go ahead. That's the one that says, if I had a box just for wishes. And if you need all those lyrics, you can either go online or I can give them to you. Then you're going to play that whole first page again, but you're going to skip the first ending and go to the second comma third ending. Play the second page and finish the song. And don't forget, you have 2 measures that you're going to repeat a couple times. It says repeat 3 times. Guess what? You can repeat it 5 times, 6 times, 8 times, doesn't matter. If you want to just keep repeating and fade out, you may. Or if you want to play that final D and end it, you may. And if you want to hit an ending button there, you may. If you want to fade out there, guess what? You can do that as well. Okay. If there's no more questions, I'm going to ask you to mute yourselves again, and I'm going to play the songs on Bojangles at 1:15, and this time I am combining a harpsichord with a guitar, which is how they did it in the original.
Dawn,
Yes.
you took the altar off before you started the third verse?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I took the altar off, went back to the third verse and played it on regular. Then
right,
I added it again at the top of the page.
correct.
Then I took it off again before I played those last couple of measures that you have to repeat.
Okay,
Good question.
just want to make sure.
Good song.
Beautiful.
Did this one in concert, by the way. I'm thinking about doing it on Saturday. I haven't decided yet. If you have any requests, by the way, I'm open. I'm trying to gather some songs. Do you know it's been 4 months since I've done a concert? 4 months. It's crazy. Yep. All right.
That's it.
Dawn,
Questions?
Dawn,
Yes. Hi,
I'd
Barbie.
like to, hi, honey. I'd like to hear piano. I just love that song.
Which
When
one?
you
Piano Man?
play when you do your concert.
You want Piano Man?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I will try. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm going to sing it, but I will play it.
Yeah, I mean, I just love that song.
Okay. All right. I'll take that as a request.
Yeah, if you want.
Cool.
Hey, Dawn, you know, Rich just wants horn.
I know. I always think of him. I always try to put something in where I can play a trumpet. Oh, you guys are the awesomest. I thank you so much. Anything else I can help you with today before we sign off?
Dawn,
Yes.
I just want to say thank you. This is such an uplifting thing. I'd like everybody to pray for my daughter, Jeannie. She went into the hospital last night and may have emergency surgery today on her, I don't know, she's got a hiatal hernia and she's in a lot of pain. So they're doing tests now. She might have to have surgery. So this is really a good thing for me today because it keeps me from going crazy.
Yep.
So thank you. Thank you so
Good
much.
luck, Barb. Good luck,
Thank-
Barb.
It'll be good. Thank you.
She's absolutely in our prayers today.
Thank you.
All right, you guys.
Bye, guys.
Love all you guys. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Hi from Indiana.
Hi from Rhode Island. And you're so awesome.
Bye,
Dawn.
Carol.
Incidentally, Dawn,
Yeah.
on the Liberty,
Uh-huh.
and I really like this because I can sit here and talk to you and play at the same time. This works out really well.
Yeah.
But I was able to bring up song setup in
Uh-huh.
Time on a Bottle at 125.
Yeah. See, I think that's a little fast, but if you guys like it at 125, go for it. Go for
Hey,
it.
to find it was a good thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. I forgot to ask you guys to go ahead and play along with me, but you know that that's what's nice. If as long as you are muted and it doesn't interfere, you can play along with me. One finger, one hand, both hands if you wish. And I do miss everybody playing along. Those were always some fun classes. But it is what it is. So, you know, it looks like we're going to be doing this for a while. So
Yeah.
just enjoy it for what it is. You guys don't have to get dressed and leave home. You can just stay at home. Have your cookies at home. Yeah, but I do miss everybody. It's wonderful to see you all. And we'll see some of you tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Yes.
Otherwise, we will see you.
Bye,
at
everybody.
Bye,
Thank-
Dawn.
Bye.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Bye, you
Bye.
guys. I love you all.
Bye.
Hi.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.